Oh my gosh, guys! So she's back. Somebody's back with an update. She, we had a conversation via email, and she wasn't that happy. She wasn't that happy with some of you guys' comments, but like I told her, I mean, you sent your story in, you wanted it read here, you knew the reaction you were going to get. Like, please. But anyway, I can't stand when I get those emails, and it could be from anybody. When it's, oh, I sent the story, but I didn't think the comments were going to be like that. That's just a little ridiculous. What's wrong with your viewers and blah? Nothing. You are free to go into the comment section and reply and explain yourself if you feel like you need to clear anything up. But anyway, she sent the part two. So guys, if you don't know the story I'm talking about, this story is about a wife wanting to take a break from her marriage. Separation, right? Her son was away for a camping trip, things like that. She told her husband, I want a break. You're not giving me what I want. And she didn't tell him this part, but there was a guy at work that was hitting on her, and she wanted to go out with him because he was a flirt, and he knew that she was married. In the end, her husband replaced her. He divorced her. She was like, what about me? What about the kid? Our son? What about our family? You're leaving us. You can't do this. He did it. He did it. And he had ended up getting into a relationship with this girl. And apparently there was another girl. I remember from the email. He's talking about, for sure, there is another girl. And this guy is like in a poly relationship now. And she's upset that their son has to witness it. She thinks it's disgusting. And the story's funny. She meets the girls. She says how she met the two girls that her husband or ex-husband, she refers to him as her husband. Interesting. Her ex-husband is now with, and it went south. So guys, take a listen to this update. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did it a week ago. I put this story out maybe a week ago, I believe. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to play it first. It's going to play first, the original email. If you already know what I'm talking about, go down to the description, click part two. It'll take you straight to what I'm about to play right now. Let's get into it. Ma'am, you effed around and found out.
I only asked my husband for a temporary break. He replaced me after 14 years of marriage. I thought my marriage would be forever. I never intended to push my husband away. After 14 years, life got boring, just the same routine. Our 12-year-old was away for camp. I wanted to spice up life a bit, not actually physically have sex with another person. No, every one woman isn't a cheater like you display on this channel. Some of us just want simple, basic attention from the opposite sex. It's sad when your husband no longer wants to give you the basic needs. A simple forehead kiss, a smack on the behind, heck, conversation. My ex-husband, Ray, only cared about his career and our son. We married in 2010. Before that, we dated for 5 years. We both graduated high school in 2005. We met during a college orientation. We both studied as English majors, minor in journalism. We dated our entire college careers, and Ray proposed in 2009. I graduated a fiance and was ecstatic. I remember girls being so jealous because I'd found my husband. Every girl was there looking for their husband. I remember my roommate one year crying because her boyfriend dumped her, and the reason she was crying was because she said, now I have to start over. She'll never find her husband. She'll be sad and ugly before she finds anyone, and no one will want her. Her words. That's just how it was in school. Every girl was looking for their man. On top of a career, we wanted both. You know, that's the best of both worlds, great family, and a great career equals a happy life. So, we married in 2010 and had our son in 2012, funny little rascal. I swear he is hilarious. Loved by everybody. My baby boy had the cutest smile when he came out. He wasn't crying. He was smiling. The doctor was actually nervous, hoping that he was breathing. He's always smiling. He's the funniest kid to be around. Everyone loves him, but actually started to get jealous of my son, my own blood. I feel like my husband cared more about him than he did about me. I get jealous when he gave our boy forehead kisses. Where's my forehead kiss? I know that's ridiculous, but I'm just being honest here. That's how it happened. I'd never hate my boy. I'll always love him, but over the years, I got jealous. I tucked a lot of this stuff inside. I've never spoken on it. I never complained to my husband about anything or made him feel like he wasn't doing enough until our son went to camp. I'll just fast forward to June of this year. My son had gotten out of school the end of May, but he had a little break in between going off to camp. This was the first time he was going to be away from home. I was kind of sad about it, but he was so happy, and my husband, well, ex-husband soon, was proud of him. He was looking forward to it and wanted him to do that. In my mind, this meant me and my ex-husband would spend more time together. You know, more sex or flirt, more dates at all. I remember I suggested to him, since our son is going to be gone, we could do a little more. We don't have to be so secret around the house anymore. We can do it wherever we want. I will please you in every way you want. Anywhere. My ex-husband seemed disgusted. The face he gave me was just an you look, like he had no desire for me. You know how small that made me feel? I'm telling this part of the story, and I'm telling all this because this is what made me want to separate temporarily. It wasn't just out of the blue and me being a horn dog, but my husband being this way and me having a coworker actually making me feel wanted created all of this. So, to be honest, it's not my fault. I walked away feeling so small. My husband started smiling, talking about, yeah, I was thinking about picking up some extra hours now my husband is on salary. He doesn't need to pick up extra hours. Saying he wanted to learn some new departments at the station. He just wants to stay away from me or go be around somebody else I didn't know about. I did pry and try to find out if he was cheating on me, but I never found out anything. He'd always talk about this project that he was working on, and he needed to get it finished. He wasn't required to work over 40 hours. He just decided to do that right when our son was gone, and now we have so much free time we can have sex like we used to around the house anywhere, do any and everything. Go on dates, he wasn't up for that. What would that tell you guys? Let's say you guys, including you, true story. Put yourself in my shoes. Your wife is not having sex with you, but maybe once a week, and you suggested you have more, and you send your kid off to camp, and you tell them we're going to have so much free time, and they tell you that they don't want it and that they'd rather work. What would you do? A, remain loyal, B, cheat, or C, divorce, or at least ask for separation? I want to know what you guys would do. Now, prior to my son going off to summer camp, there was a coworker that I work with that did work with me quite often. He knew I was married, but he just didn't care. He was just that type of guy. He was the type of guy that could get any woman that he wants. He just had that style about him. I don't know everybody loved him. My immediate thoughts were, well, next time he's asking me to go out for lunch, I just might say, yeah. The next time he gives me a compliment, it just might come with a smile. My husband didn't want me. To be honest with you guys, I never wanted a divorce. I really just wanted to wake my husband up, and I kind of grew more interest in my coworker, and I wanted to go out on a date with him. So I guess I'll be honest here. I'll be completely honest. One of the reasons I asked for the break was to go on a date with a coworker guilt-free. There was something about going out with him without breaking it off with my husband or even filing for divorce was not something I was going to do. I'm not breaking up my family. No way. I didn't get married to get divorced, but I didn't get married to be ignored either. So the temporary separation is what I asked my husband, and I didn't think anything of it. as far as destroying my marriage. I have no proof that he was already seeing this child that he left me for, but my ex-husband definitely left me for somebody else. I fought for my marriage. I even tried to get our sons to beg my ex-husband to keep the marriage, and it didn't work. I just knew it would work, but he was done with us. He wanted to leave his family and replace us for a new one. So, the same day, my ex-husband was telling me how he was going to work extra hours. I asked him for the separation the next day. I went to work, and of course my coworker was flirting with me, and I told him that I'd go to lunch with him. At that moment is when I realized, wow, I'm still married even though I'm not happy with my husband. I'm still a wife, I can't do that. So I spent 4 days trying to figure out how I wanted to ask my husband for separation. I eventually asked him. The way I did it was, well, he came home and he was headed downstairs to the basement to watch TV like he usually does. I stopped him and said, we need to speak, and we need to speak now. He said, what's wrong, hun? I couldn't believe he called me hun. He never talks to me like that anymore. You're telling me all I had to do was be a little aggressive or yell at him to get his attention. I asked him, can we sit and talk? And I told him straight up, not happy within this marriage. I told him he neglects me. He tried to speak, but I shushed him and said, let me finish. You neglect me. You don't care about my needs. And I just feel like, well, maybe we need some time apart. Our son is gone for the summer, and maybe I can go and stay with my sister, and you can keep the house, or you can leave, and I'll stay here. I don't care, but I think some separation is needed. I just need to breathe. My husband says, are you divorcing me? I said, no, I want separation. He then replies and says, separation means you want to be with other people. I know exactly what that means. If you want a divorce because you want to be with someone else, just say so. We can make it happen. I said, no, I've never dated anyone else, slept with anyone else, or wanted anyone else. I just want to be alone. He says, well, are you contemplating divorcing me? Is that what you want? I told him, no, absolutely not. I just want to separate temporarily. Why is it so hard for you to comprehend this? He said, this is what you want. We can do it. Go pack your stuff and go to your sister's. That's exactly what I did. I didn't need much, just clothes and stuff for my hair and makeup. I'll buy a new toothbrush, toothpaste when I get there. That's what I did. My son didn't know about any of this. He was away at camp, and whenever we got to talk to him, we didn't let him know what was going on. Didn't disturb him, you know. My sister had the house to herself, and her son, my nephew, was also away at the same camp with my son. My sister's not married. She divorced early, actually right before they even had their son together. Apparently, her ex-husband had trust issues and kept accusing her of cheating, and my sister couldn't deal with it anymore. She felt he needed to grow up, so she divorced him. She got a home, has been raising my nephew. For some reason, her ex-husband doesn't want anything to do with being a father. What a coward. I stayed with my sister, and it was great. We had a lot of wine nights and talked about things girls talk about when they're alone. Of course, sex with our significant others or other men and celebrities we have crushes on. It was like when we were teenagers. We also invited girlfriends over to have a blast. Yes, I went out for lunch with my coworker quite a few times, actually. I never really realized how funny he truly was. He's amazing. I will give him that. When he tried to invite me to dinner and things like that, I didn't go for it because I knew where it was going. I know the type of guy he is. He's not going to seduce me. He very much can, but knowing when I'm at work, even though we're at lunch, we're still on the clock. I'm not going to do anything like that. But if I go to dinner with him, I could end up at his place after a couple drinks. It's not going to happen because I will still be a wife. I guess my ex-husband didn't think like that. He was out doing whatever he wanted to do to the point where he served my son and I divorce papers. July 21st, It was just one of the scummiest days ever. I just remember waking up feeling horrible. Something about this day just wasn't right. The air stunk, just horrible vibes I can just never forget. This day. I'll forever dread this day. But our son had been home for a week, so I was already back home as well. My ex-husband served us divorce papers, not himself, but someone delivered it from his law firm that he was working with. While I was home, our son opened it up, and I was devastated. He's really divorcing me and replacing me. Here's the weird thing. When I came back home and son was coming home, we weren't having sex, but he was really extremely nice to the point where I thought it was a little weird. He was being very sweet to me all the time. Hugs, but he wouldn't kiss me, and I figured, well, we just had time apart, so let me give it a little minute to get back to where it should be. But didn't even take a week before he wanted a divorce. I begged and begged to remain married. Initially, I knew nothing about another woman. When he told me that he was moving out and he wouldn't tell me where he was staying, my antennas raised. I knew for certain it was another woman for the second time in our marriage. I went snooping through his phone. Before he got all packed up and left, I found out that he had been seeing someone else since we separated. The separation was not for him to fall in love with another woman. That's cheating. And that's exactly what he did. Guess what hurt as well? He was taking off early and even skipping work to be with this woman. Mind you, he was working extra hours when it was just he and I alone, but for this new woman, he takes off work and misses days using his PTO. The guy that never uses vacation or PTO decides to do this for another woman. I immediately wanted to figure out how to take him to the cleaners. I wanted everything. I know for certain I was going to get child support and full custody of my son. I thought I would. That didn't work out the way I thought it would. I wish I could sue my lawyer. Also, for some reason, I thought I could get his 401k, at least some of it. It didn't work out that way. He has made more money than me and has way more money in his 401k. So I thought the judge would want to even out our 401k at least. Didn't work out that way. Again, I wish I could sue my lawyer. My lawyer said things like, "You're the mom, of course you'll get full custody. My mom lived on child support. You'll be fine. Don't worry, you'll get lifetime alimony." Mind you, I have a career. The judge will see right through him. Don't work while the divorce is pending. How am I going to take care of my son? Get a new partner ASAP and introduce them to your kid. What? Move all of your belongings out of the house while your spouse is at work. Hacking into your spouse's email, tracking his car. I should have ran away early on, but this is the same law firm that helped my sister. During our divorce hearings, well, it was technically only one, but during the waiting process, I continued to beg my husband to stay with me. I even offered him a situation that was quite odd. I told him that it would be okay to keep his girlfriend just for 1 year, but the entire time we would work on us. And then after the year is up, she's gone. I didn't want to lose my family. I was wanting to do anything in this world to keep my family intact. Of course he wasn't buying it. Our divorce is nearing finalization. Technically, I'm still married, but it's official. We will be divorced. Now I didn't get alimony. I don't even get child support. We have 50-50 custody. I didn't get anything. My freaking lawyer promised that I will get everything. It's just that we haven't received the final paperwork. I wish there was something I could do. Something like stop this, because I know my husband is making a big mistake and he's going to regret this. We don't need to divorce. Couples have issues all the time. I didn't ask him for an open marriage like a lot of your stories are on here. I asked him for separation. I just wanted to breathe, and I kind of wanted to wake him up, make him realize that he'd be lost without me. But he wasn't. He found another woman, and he replaced me. Do you know how small I feel? How do you marry someone and replace them just like that? Like they were never anything to you? My ex-husband and I talked about single motherhood and how it can destroy a child, especially a young man. He put his own son in a single mother household. So, however, our son turns out is on him. He knew what he was doing. Seeing your son 50% of the time is not going to solve anything. He needs his father in the home with the mother 24/7. For him to grow up and be a good citizen, our son may turn out to be a criminal or something because he wanted to move on with some skank. Oh, and I got the scoop on this bimbo of his. She worked as an assistant at his job. Luckily, she quit because I would have gotten her ash fired. She thinks she's hot stuff because she's young, but no. Fix your weave, tramp. She's clearly a user. She's only 25 years old and already has a boob job. I know that rack isn't real. She's going to take everything from my ex-husband, and when his ash comes crawling back, I will kick him while he's down. I don't know what kind of kinky mess this bimbo has my ex-husband involved in, but my son told me sometimes another girl is there at their townhouse and they all sleep in the same bed. My son said the other girl looks just like daddy's girlfriend. I'm eventually going full custody of my boy because there's no way my son should be seeing that filth. If my husband returns or I get full custody, I will update my story. My ex-husband is claiming he's in a polygamous marriage with these two bimbos. I'm suing one of them for assaulting me. So, like I mentioned in my original email, my ex-husband replaced me. He replaced our family for some young girl that he worked with at his job. I wanted to get her fired so bad, but she'd already quit well before I could. I started complaining about him bringing other women around my son. My son doesn't need to see that. I don't want my son growing up thinking it's okay to have two girlfriends in the same house. I talked to him about it, and I said, I know you're sleeping with women in your home while our son is there. He can see you. He's not asleep. He told me all about it. So you're busted. He told me. Busted? You busted me? I can do what the hell I want to do in my house. We don't have sex while our son is there. That's a guarantee, but do we sleep in the same bed? Absolutely. It's comfortable. I told him he was a prick and he was disgusting. He didn't know where these girls came from or what they were doing. Heck, they're probably just using him for his money, and they're probably sleeping with younger guys that are their age. He called me freaking jealous. Then he told me that they are in a relationship. He's not legally married to them, but they're in a marriage and they're happy. I said, how are you married to two women? He said, I just told you it's not legal, but we're in a relationship, poly relationship. They love our son, both of them, and we're good. You don't need to worry about us. Our son is well taken care of. I told him my son is not taken care of when he's with you. If he has to see that, that's not right. So, when you guys went to the movies, did you all three go? Did you tell my son to lie and say it was just you and him? He told me, no, our son told the truth. It was just he and I who went to the movies. Oh, well, I bet your two little wives were sleeping with younger guys while you were gone. You're such an idiot. I told him I needed to meet these girls, since they were going to be around my son. That's only fair. He agreed that it was fair and said, okay, you can meet them. They're sweet girls. They don't want anything to happen to our son. We set up a meeting at the park. It was so freaking awkward. The introduction, everything. But I kept a smile on my face. I act as if I was happy to see them when I wasn't. These girls just think they're hot stuff. I can tell they have extensions in their hair. Nails are painted, makeup on. It's just disgusting. If you have to wear heavy makeup like that, you're ugly. Behind that, you're hideous. They have to do all that to make themselves look pretty. How are you that young? And you need that much makeup. I don't wear any makeup. Anyway, so this is the day one of them assaulted me. So my husband bought baseball and baseball gloves for him and my son. And yes, I said my husband. When you marry someone, even if you get divorced, you're still married to that person unless they pass away. Anyway, he and my son went to the field to start throwing the ball. Me and the other two girls sat in the dugout. It was about 3 minutes of awkward silence. We were watching them throw the ball and laughing. Oh, he's so cute. I'll look at them, but then it was the awkward silence. So I look over at them and I say, so, how did you guys meet I almost said husband, and I rephrased the question and said, so, how did you guys meet? I'll just call the original homewrecker Bimbo 1, then the other. I'll call her Bimbo 2. So, Bimbo 1 says, well, we used to work together. Of course, while you guys were married, we never flirted. We barely even talked. But I didn't know about you guys getting the divorce, and that's when he and I stopped her right there. You don't need to talk about my divorce or my relationship with my ex-husband. I got it. You met at work. I was looking at Bimbo 2. Bimbo 2 gets all brave and tough with me. You don't have to talk to us like that. You're being very disrespectful. I told them to listen. If you were going to be around my son in this awkward relationship, then I need to know who you are. So answer my goddamn question. How did you meet? Before I got the rest out, Bimbo 2 decked me in the face. I fell off of the bench we were sitting on. When I looked up, my ex-husband and son were running over. He was standing over there, consoling. The two girls looking at me, saying, what happened? What do you think happened? Your bimbo of a girlfriend just punched me in the face. I'm calling the police. As soon as I said that, my ex-husband and these two bimbos jet to their car and leave. My ex-husband left me and our son by ourselves in the park. What does that say about him? He's turned into the devil. How do you just leave your ex-wife and son? He didn't know how bad I was hurt. He didn't care. He just wanted to protect them. It's like they had a spell over him or something. How do you leave your son? Forget me, your son. Heck, forget about me, honestly. But stay for your son. How about that? Bimbo 2 will see me, and she will cash me outside. But first, I will take whatever little money she has from her, then I will beat her ash.
Ma'am. What do you mean you gonna beat the girl up? I don't think you could beat her up. Like, if you could beat her up, why you didn't beat her up in the dugout? Oh, because you had planned you're gonna sue her, right? Yeah, gotcha. Listen, man, leave it alone. Like, what do you like? So, do you think this is? So, you said your ex-husband ran to the aid of his new wives or his new girlfriend. You think in court he's gonna defend you and say, "Yeah, my new wife punched her," but no, he's not. He's gonna say, "I didn't see anything. I don't know what she's talking about." And you're gonna put your son through that too? I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna be able to sue. I don't. You might. You didn't say anything. Did you call the police? I don't know. Ma'am, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Your husband did explain. He said, or your ex-husband, he said, I'm not sleeping with these women while my son is in the house. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, we're not doing nasty things in front of him or being disrespectful. I believe him. Ma'am, you're just jealous. But you started this. You have to lie in the bed that you made. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. If you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That's truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.